What's up guys, welcome to Tech Savvy Buyer. So today we're going to take a look at ViviBright's newest mini projector. This is the world's smallest mini LED projector, and this is made by ViviBright. It is their J10 model. We're going to jump into this and take a look at all the stuff that's good about this projector after a word from today's video sponsor.
Today's video is sponsored by GVGMall.com. GVG Mall carries a wide variety of game currencies and gift cards that you could use to take your gaming to the next level. If you're looking for a fresh copy of Windows or Microsoft Office, then you can certainly find those on GVGMall.com as well. They are priced very competitively and offer legit copies of Microsoft software. You can pick up a copy of Windows 10 Pro for under 15 bucks. Visit GVGMall.com for more information and use code TSB to save during checkout.
So don't forget to check out GVG Mall if you guys are looking for a way to activate your copy of Windows 10. Anyways, let's jump into the review of this actual projector. So by all means guys, this is a very sturdy, very durable, very solidly built, very nice looking projector overall. I have to really commend ViviBright on the outstanding build quality that I am seeing with this mini projector. In fact, of all the different projectors I've reviewed on this channel, this is arguably the best built one at its price range. Of course, if you spend upwards of thousands of dollars, you're going to get a much better projector overall in quality and build quality and whatnot. But I mean, guys, really look at this. This is really solidly made, and it's actually pretty, portable. It's not that huge, so it does come with a carrying case that you can put inside and take with you and basically have the ability to project up to 120 inches wherever you want to go. So now let's talk about what this thing actually packs under the hood, what are the different connectivity options you have, and what really makes this worth your money or doesn't make it worth your money. We'll find out at the end of this review if this is something that I would recommend to you to purchase or not. Now this comes with a number of different things under the hood. So first off, it does support a full HD output natively, which means it's not going to just take a 1080 input from a device that you connect to it, such as a PlayStation or an Xbox, but it'll also output it at full HD resolution, unlike many other Pico or mini projectors that you see in the market today that will dumb it down to like an 840p resolution or a 720p resolution. This will actually natively display it at full HD resolution, which is pretty neat considering the form factor it has. In addition, it'll also support 4K input, so if you are plugging in a device that is only outputting a 4K image quality, it'll still play it, although it'll be at 1080p. So that's a pretty interesting thing to see, because some other projectors you can't even hook up a 4K device to it because it won't read the input signal coming into it. Now, aside from that, the technology that's being used in this for the light source is LED. Now, there's some conflicting information online regarding that. It kind of confused me too, whether it's DLP or it's LED, and I think it's purely just LED based. There is no DLP technology in this projector. However, with that being said, there are pros to having an LED based projector versus a DLP one, most notably being that they'll last a lot longer and they won't burn out as quick. And that means this guy is going to pack up to 50,000 hours if you use this in eco mode, which dumbs the brightness down to about 660 lumens. That's still quite a bit of life considering this is, a portable projector. Now, in terms of brightness, out of the box, this does support up to 880 lumens. Now, I know that might not sound like a whole lot of brightness, but guys, honestly, compared to every other budget projector I've looked at, or even mid-tier full HD projectors, this trumps them with brightness. And the 880 lumens is pure 880 lumens that you're actually getting out of this. They're not giving you a fake number or some of the other numbers that you see on Amazon projectors that you can pick up that give you, like 2000. I can't remember the figure that they use, but it's not lumens. It's another light source that they try to force down your throat, and those are not true indicating factors of how bright the projector can actually get. So 880 lumens, it may not sound like a lot, but it is actually really bright, and it actually puts out a very sharp image considering that it is full HD. So paired with that, those two marry up really well and give a spectacular image quality of this. Now, text is exceptionally sharp and very clear when you're trying to present something on a screen. So if you're looking at PDFs, Excel sheets, Word documents, things of that nature, this thing is a beast. In fact, I would probably go out on a limb here and say I think this is probably much better suited for someone who's going to be using this for presentations or in an office setting, more of a professional setting. That doesn't mean that if you're planning to have something to throw out in the backyard or use in a bedroom or have gaming on the go, that this is not a good projector for that. This is actually a very good projector for that as well. So speaking of gaming, let's talk about gaming on this device. I actually really enjoy gaming with this projector. Now, in my own personal home theater setup, I have a 4K projector. It is a ViewSonic X10 4K model, and that one does give you some kind of input lag when you play first-person shooters. Now, when I hooked this guy up, at a fraction of the cost of my one that's in my home theater, I was just blown away at how nice the quality looked, and honestly, the input lag was barely noticeable. It was pretty much non-existent when compared to traditional projectors that you're using. So that doesn't mean that this is the best if you're going to do competitive gaming, but hey, if you're playing casual games like with a Switch or even a PlayStation or an Xbox, this thing is fantastic. The image quality is great, and you can get up to 120 inches, which is not something your 4K TV is going to do, considering those are fixed sizes. So that's definitely a cool factor to keep in mind when you're taking a projector like this in consideration. I also like that they have a lens cover that protects the LED source from getting dusty or from getting any scratches on it if it is, traveling with you in your backpack or in any spot. That is definitely a neat feature, and it's good to see that they kept that in mind. Now, in terms of connectivity, this is where some of the limitations come from this projector, but it does get made up based on the operating system that's inside. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, let's call it. I'm going to kind of explain this the best that I can. But in terms of connectivity, on the back, you really just have 2 USB ports, 1 HDMI slot, as well as 1 micro SD card slot. So there's really not a whole lot of stuff you can connect to it. I kind of wish they gave a little bit more in terms of ports, just so we can connect more things to it. Now, where it lacks with physical ports, here's where the wireless technology comes in it. This thing is running an Android operating system, albeit it is a little bit of an older version at 6.0, and frankly that is what holds it back from its true potential. The memory inside it is about 1 gigs of RAM. It's got 5 gigs of storage built into it. I know it's kind of weird figures, but that's what I saw as available when I plugged this in and actually went through the storage settings inside Android. So there is some built-in storage so that you can store stuff on it. In addition to that, it supports Miracast. Now, albeit Miracast is only going to be supported up to 720p, but if you have something on your phone, you can easily just throw it up onto this projector anywhere you go. Now, what makes this truly portable and truly convenient to take with you is the fact that it has a built-in 6,000 milliampere battery. That's quite a lot. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot because it's going to be using quite a bit of that power when you're using this, but if you put it in eco mode, you can get up to 2.5 hours of battery life out of this portable projector really easily. If you decide to keep it in its full bright mode, you'll get down to about 1.5 hours. So I guess it's still really fantastic if you're going somewhere and you don't have a place to plug in the charger, or if you don't have, if you basically don't want to carry that charger with you, because really the bag only gives you space to take the projector itself and not the actual cables that come with it. Now, speaking of stuff that come with this, inside the box you actually get the projector. It comes with a nice convenient little remote. You get the power cable, you get the travel bag, and you get an instruction manual. Now, on the remote itself, it's actually really convenient, and what I like about this the most is that it doesn't require to be in line of sight when you're trying to do some changes. So you don't have to point this at the IR blaster and pretty much make sure that you're having it facing it all the time to get some settings. And trust me, when you have a remote and you're using it with a projector and it has to work like that, it's a horrible experience when you're always trying to hold it like gangster style, you know what I mean? It just doesn't play out well. You want to have something that you can just basically, even under the table or on your side or whatever, just use it and it just still works really well. Now, this has built-in keystone correction. It does it automatically, and it also does autofocusing. However, if the picture is not to your liking, you've got those settings available on the actual remote itself. You can adjust the focus through the top part here or the bottom part and make it come down to your clarity. Now, speaking of sharpness on this and getting the image to full focus, this is an area where I kind of struggled with this projector, but I think that's just because of the nature of how this is made. The picture quality is super sharp and clear in the center, but around the edges, it does suffer from that typical kind of projector out of sharpness or out of blurriness on the edges that most other projectors you see tend to have that kind of issue with. But despite that, it still outputs a very solid image. In fact, when I was testing this in my projection area, my wife came into the room and she saw it, and she was actually surprised that that kind of quality was coming from this size projector. And honestly, women hardly notice these kind of things, but I'm telling you guys, the quality on this thing is just insane. Now, all of these features are fantastic, but it does come at a hefty price tag of about 560 bucks. 560 bucks, guys, in my all honest opinion, is a bit too much for this projector, considering you can find most other Pico Mini projectors for about half that cost to even less. Granted, they will not keep all the different features that this one does. Now, although this does have Android built into it, and you can connect Bluetooth devices to it like speakers, headphones, keyboards, or gamepads and stuff, the overall use of that Android is kind of clunky. It's outdated. It's an Android 6.0. I personally did not even bother loading any apps on it because it was just really slow to navigate through. I ended up just plugging in a Roku stick to it through the back, and that's what made my experience with this thing phenomenal. So considering that it does have that and you're basically paying for that, I think that's a feature they can take out of this, even though it is a smart projector, and kind of go away from having Android into it. Now, the other con that I'd say on this is the noise that comes from it. The fan noise on this thing is exceptionally loud, guys. It is by far the loudest fan I've ever heard on a projector of all the projectors I've reviewed on this channel. About 2 feet away from this projector, I was basically at 50 decibels of noise, which is very, very loud for a projector. Now, granted, there are speakers built into this that can get, pretty, I guess, okay-ish. They're not going to be the most crazy sound-filling noise, but they do, drown out the fan noise when they're playing, but it's not something that you'd really be looking forward to. Which is why it kind of brings me back to the initial thing I stated. I think this would be perfect for an office setting where things like that can kind of, go around when you're at a conference room and this is plopped in the center of the table projecting and people are all around it. The noise won't be as annoying as opposed to if you're sitting around with a bunch of people in your home or in a living room and you're projecting this and you're watching a movie and there's a quiet scene, it's a dark area or a horror movie, all you're going to hear is this drowned out sound of the fan, no matter how far you are. Now, the noise level does go down to about 30 decibels when you're about 6 to 8 feet away from it, which is still, again, pretty loud considering that this is more than likely going to be close to you if you're going to be traveling with it and placing it on a table or placing it somewhere and plugging something into it. So that is one thing to keep in mind as you come to making your decision on whether you want to pick up this kind of projector or not. So let me know what you guys think about this actual projector. Does the feature set that's built into this actually command the price point that they're asking for? And guys, to be completely honest, me being in my professional life and having a lot of interactions with suppliers and internal customers at my full-time job, I would consider purchasing this just for that ease of use of not having to take my laptop everywhere or having the ability to project and share stuff when I'm trying to share my screen with people. I think the fact that it does have the capability of going up to 2 hours without having a power source attached to it really makes this thing an attractive buy. So yes, it is expensive, but guys, it does offer a lot of features that most competition cannot cover. So with that, that's pretty much the end of this review. I would still like to know what you guys think about this. And as always, guys, if you are new to my channel, do hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you guys are up to date when I'm putting new content out. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you guys on my next one. Take care.